and then you get the music out, hopefully, right? And then you get it done in a way where we've kind of made a three-tiered, like a 4-tiered one-stop shop with like video and photography and graphic design. Like there's like this like 4-tiered section of our studio that has like a collaboration space. Then you have like a podcast space, a collaboration space, a recording studio space, an infinity room space, a photography space, and then a networking space. So it's like this long one-stop shop.
Hi, and welcome to And If Love Remains. I am your gracious host. I am Mike Levitt. So happy to be here with you today, and I am ecstatic, pleased, and privileged to have Jason and Jeff Linford, the Linford twins, on today. This is going to be a lot of fun. Welcome to the show, guys.
We are thrilled. Love will remain. I promise you that.
Amen.
I love the title.
Thank you.
Is love will remain?
And if love remains.
Oh,
and if love remains. I like that.
Yeah, and if love remains. It's the
and if love remains.
What are the things that we will do? What are the things that we're passionate about? Even if it's just for love. So
that's great.
I love that.
I know you've got some great things cooking about. These guys are incredibly talented violinists. They're incredibly talented entertainers. You guys, you've got to see these guys on stage. They're amazing. They're a lot of fun. They just came out with a new tune over Christmas, a new Christmas song. What's the name of the song again?
Yeah. Christmas Is.
And I loved it. It was a great song. So maybe we'll have you on, next Christmas.
Thank
to
you.
Talk about it.
Oh yeah.
But
you better believe we're definitely gonna make the circuit this next time, because we launched it on Christmas Eve. Not a whole lot of time to promote it.
That's all right. Right. You do it when it's right. So
right.
And then they've got an exciting project they're working on here in Mesa, Arizona, called The Pad. But
yes.
Before we get into that, I want to talk about, you guys, give us a little bit of background. Like, when did you guys start playing the violin, start entertaining? Tell me how all that started happening.
Jeff, take it away. It was Jeff's fault anyway.
It is Jeff's fault.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, are you there?
Is Jeff still there?
I think Jeff just left us. So Jason, why don't you take it?
Yeah, Jeff is speechless, and he probably is filled with. It's just too hard for him to talk about it. But I'll go in it. I'll go into detail here.
All right.
And by the way, you had a great video you just put out too. I loved it.
Oh,
you look really good in a hat, by the way. You're
thank you.
Totally rocking that piano, and you looked fantastic. So anyway, that was cool.
That was fun. Thank you.
But so here's how it went down. I always wanted to play the trumpet because my older brother, he got into the trumpet in 5th grade. We're 1 grade behind. And so what happened was I was like, okay, this is going to be cool. My grandpa played the trumpet. Let's do this. But then Jeffrey, in 3rd grade, one of these, he was like, one of these assemblies, he was talking to his friend, and they were kind of, I can tell they were kind of like conniving, like whipping up something interesting. I'm like, what are they talking about, And then he's like, and I'm like, I want to be in on this. And then I heard him whispering, saying, okay, so we have 2 violins at our house. You can use one, I'll use the other, and then we can get out of school. And we get to leave class to go play music. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be left behind. And so I immediately just said, hey, Jeff, I'm going to use the other violin. And he was really mad. He's like, no, you're not. That's my friend's. I'm like, no. I'm going to use the other violin. Your friend has to find another one. I want to do this too, right? So it was totally impromptu. There's no other reason than that, which is crazy, right? Now, we did hear the Bobcat Fiddlers play later that year, like on stage, and they were like the biggest rock stars during our time. And I was just jaw dropped, like, these guys, like, we're going to be doing this, So that combo got us into it. And then it was kind of cool. So Jeff got me into it, but I kept him in. I'm like, Jeff, we got to stick with this. And there's more of a story with that. I just fell in love with the opportunity to playing the violin with Jeff, and mostly bluegrass, right? It wasn't really the classical. even though we loved classical, it was like that bluegrass.
Yeah, you guys were
high energy.
Yeah, fiddlers.
Yeah, the fiddlers, right? The fiddling, and we toured. We toured all around Arizona, toured to the fiddle camps and the fiddle contests, all through junior high, and then we had an a cappella band in high school, which we could talk about later, I guess. But the violins really it opened doors for us, and we can talk about more of that. But the coolest door that opened was in 7th grade. We earned so much money in that bluegrass group for the orchestra that the seniors or the advanced orchestra got to go to Disneyland, and our Lou Felton, one of the best teachers honestly in the nation when it comes to string instruments, and this is not even an argument, this is like a fact. He took us aside and said, you guys have been on this journey with us, even though we were in 7th grade. We were not in the top group, we were in the bluegrass group, right? He said, you guys, we might have room for you on the bus to go to Disneyland, right? Right. And you'll be like the Twin Fiddlers, but I can't promise you that. I'm not going to promise you that. So I said, okay, we didn't care. We just thought, hey, we're just going to ride this wave. And then I remember like a few months before the trip, he said, guys, I got some bad news. And I'm like, what's the bad news? He goes, we have room for you on the bus. We're going to Disneyland together. If you guys can go. I'm like, and I'll never forget this the rest of my life. This is 7th grade heart, and we didn't, we just were there to enjoy it. But on the trip down, we had our seats and we were having our friends and having a great time. And I look back and I see him, Lou Felton, sitting not on a seat. He gave up his seat and he was sitting on where the bathroom is, the very back. There's like
no way.
Yes, and there was that a makeshift seat, that this angled piece of metal, and he's sitting on it. And I look back to him, and he looks right at me in the eyes, and I'll never forget this the rest of my life. He looked at me in the eyes, and there was like this understanding. And what I felt at that time was, make this count, boys. Make this count. Wow. I still feel it to this day. It was like through my whole soul. He was like, make this count. And then I'm like, he gave up his seat. And so I've really held on to that, make it count.
Yeah, it's like made me want to cry, Yeah. I've been talking to myself the past like 5 minutes, not realizing that I was like off the audio. I was like, what? Man. I was going on stories. I'm like, these guys are good listeners, man. And then finally I'm like, you guys there? And nothing. I'm like, oh my God.
And nobody interrupted you.
Nobody interrupted me. I'm like, Jason is phenomenal right now. I can't know.
Relish,
Jason is.
Jeff, relish that experience that you just had.
And I was like, Jason, take it away. And like, nothing.
All right,
relish that silence. Silence is gold.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so there we were on the bus. Relishing, yes. Not in the silence, but in the moment. In the moment of making this count. Jeff,
yes, make it count.
What was your at that moment, like, what were you thinking? What were you?
Well, I felt a little bit shallow because I think I was just having like some candy and like eating some popcorn or something. No idea what was going on, but I do remember thinking when I wanted to quit like the next year, because I wanted to do sports and I wanted to do like the other things. Some of my friends were like not doing it anymore, and Jason had a sit down with me. He's like, listen, he's like, you have to really think strong and hard about if you want to quit right now, because if you do, it'll affect the rest of your life. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? He's like, well, you're not going to be a professional athlete, are you? I'm like, no, probably not. He's like, probably not going to get a scholarship for sports, are you? I'm like, well, maybe, if I work really hard. He's like, nah, that's not going to happen. He said, you could. He said, he's like, you could become a professional musician. And the reason, he said, is you can keep doing music as long as you want. You can be doing music till you're 80, 90, 100. You can still do music. You can still develop your musical skills, your talents, this and that. He said, we have much better chance of becoming musical phenomenons, especially as the Twin brand. He said, you will probably never go to Disneyland again until you're an old man, He said, we will be able to go to Disneyland every year. The violins will take us there. He said, musical... And that was enough to convince me.
Are you saying Jason in the 8th, 9th grade?
Yes, this is 7th grade. 8th grade. That's what he was, a sage. He had something more mature. Like when he said that he made eye contact with Lou Felton and they had this understanding. Like that doesn't surprise me at all because
it goes a step further because I knew I wasn't good enough. I knew I wasn't good enough at the violin. See, I knew when I looked at him and he looked at me, it was a feeling of like, this is it, make it count. Because I knew the only reason why I was there because I was a twin and we had a twin fiddler stick in the concert.
Was that before or after though? I thought it was after, like we were on the way home. I remember.
No, it was on the way there. It was on the way there. And and honestly, like I wasn't the best fiddler, but Jeff and I together as a twin unit, it was like our breakthrough. Like we had kind of like an excuse. We kind of lifted the show up because it was a stick. Right. And in 7th grade, I knew that. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I was, how do I say it? I was kind of born into that, and I was like, I'm gonna get better. Like it gave me a lot of hope, and also
you're like, you can't leave it.
Yeah, like I'm not, and I needed you to do it with me because we were the twin thing, and
right,
and so there's a lot of gratitude.
And the neat thing about it is our parents never like asked us to do it. That's a very unique thing. Like they never asked us, not once. It was always, it just came from us. Like we wanted to do it, and I think that's kind of unique because most kids, I think, are like, oh, the parents, put them in piano or they put them in whatever, and they pay for the private lessons. We never had a private lesson. We just showed up to school with our parents' violins that were too big, and we kind of grew into them. but then we went in. Then it took us places. We ended up earning enough money for the entire full orchestra to get like 80% of their trip to Disneyland paid for.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
And we got to go around and see the business of the music. Like we got to go to the Princess Hotel Resort, play for 15 minutes, and they gave us $1,000. And we got to see that. We're like, oh my gosh, like here we are.
Right. That was cool.
Junior high, maybe 7th, 8th grade. And we're like doing musical business. And we're like, this is really cool. And then I remember Mr. Felton said, you guys could make $1,000 an hour if you guys go into strolling performing. The strolling violin.
And this was a few years ago, right? We're talking about, we're talking high.
Oh my gosh!
So inflation.
I was gonna say when $1,000 was like worth $1,100.
I think it's probably worth $2,000 right now.
Maybe.
I was ancient years ago.
But I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like strolling violins and the twin fiddling combined could be a really, really marketable package. And thinking,
for sure,
at this age, it literally was almost like a business decision. Like I was thinking, and Jason was thinking, after he convinced me of the opportunity, I was thinking we could literally like run this to the bank, like, and get paid to travel, get paid to go on vacation, not have to pay to go, but to play to go,
Right.
So we always thought about that. We thought about, building the brand. And then what happened, there was a huge shift in our musical destiny when we eventually started writing to my mom's, we had a piano breakthrough where we started writing lyrical music, like not just violin music, but like we started doing piano ballads.
Yeah.
And then we met our producer, which was a huge breakthrough. So he was like a life-changing moment because when we went to Salt Mine to record, it's a huge recording studio here in Mesa, one of the best in Arizona, probably one of the best in the region. But he was there as the house producer, and he ended up, kind of connecting with us and our music. And he didn't even know we played the violin.
By the way, Jeffrey, you just said something that was really kind of cool that I've never really put together in my brain before, but we connected with Charles Dorman. And here's the cool thing is you and I were violin players, but we took music as a lot of the hip hop artists approach to music. Like we kind of were like we were hustling it through, right? Like we would play the music at the contest, like in like the tournaments, but we would like get our food by playing at the concessions and like entertain them. They give us food. And we're like, yes, this is sick.
Right.
Then we play on the screen.
Kind of like busking.
Our approach,
street performing.
Yeah, our approach to music, even though it was violin, our grit and kind of hustle was really the same as hip hop artists approach it a lot of times. So when we met Charles Dorman, I mean, it was a piano ballad, Goodnight Sweet Girl. It Violence
that was
really
that was what it's called. It was called Good Night, Sweet Girl. But it was
that was the title of the song.
And he connected in such a way that
connected, and not just with him. We connected with let's see, Lil Wayne's producer Diesel was there, and he heard the song and he just loved it. He actually tried to mix it at 3 a.m. the next day, and he showed it to us the next day. And we're like, wow, we had a little bit of demo-itis because we weren't used to that.
Right.
But then also, let's see, who else did we meet? DMX met us, and for some reason, like, even though we were deep down,
I know Don, the owner, connected with us to our bank account. He had many.
Yeah, he connected.
He ran us so many different styles of the song.
So we don't need to talk about that. That's okay. We don't need to talk about that.
We're still paying off that credit card.
But I just want to say that's kind of a cool thing. I think other artists that are listening right now, like, even though if you have different genres and you have, like, I mean, think about it. I don't think there's anything further than hip hop than two kind of white boy bluegrass players, right? However, the approach to it was almost the same as far as grit and determination and street playing and like hustling and he knew he had an ear, though. We have a gift of like melody writing and like hook writing, and he connected with writing because he's such a good writer. Chuck is a good writer, and he ended up writing with us, and we made these other songs, and that's what kind of led us into the design of our own studio, because we knew that we could write music, but then bring other people to the studio, and they could write music. It's not just a recording studio. It's like almost like a songwriter's accelerator.
Right.
Like, and we knew if we had such a good experience with Chuck, that other people could, and unlock the music that was in them, and not just have people come with a prepared song or like, I'm going to do a final track here, recording here. But it was not that. It was, this is a place where you can write the best songs that's inside of you. And if you haven't gotten there, then you can discover it here. And write it here. And we've had about 8 or 9 artists that have already done it right now, and they are on cloud 9 because when you have that experience,
amazing.
You get confidence. You build your confidence. You build your hope. You build your endurance. You build your passion, and then you get the music out, hopefully, right? And then you get it done in a way where we've kind of made a 3-tiered, like a 4-tiered one-stop shop with like video and photography and graphic design. Like, there's like this like 4-tiered section of our studio that has like a collaboration space. Then you have like a podcast space, a collaboration space, a recording studio space, an infinity room space, a photography space, and then a networking space. So it's like this long one-stop shop place where we might not be like the best at everything, but you can get a taste of everything. And one thing we probably are really good at, and I'd say among the best, is the songwriting and the producing of the songs. But then everything else kind of maybe can like, support that. And so that's kind of what the pad is all about.
That's super cool. Yeah, let's talk about that. So you guys have in Mesa, Arizona, the
downtown Main Street.
Downtown Main Street, right there.
Yep.
Yeah, beautiful spot.
Right in the heart.
A place called the Pad, and I've been there. I've seen the vision. It's an amazing place. You got a spot there that looks like it's ready to be a newscaster.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it does.
It's amazing. And then you've got your collaboration lab going on. Was that the vision? Like when you guys got that building?
Yeah.
What was the thought process?
So Jeff, do you want to take this or do you want me to take this?
Yeah, I'll just take it for real quick.
Okay, make sure you don't skip anything.
Right, real quick. We basically, and I want to come in here and let Matt. Matt's here right now.
Oh,
we're on a podcast with Mike. We're on his podcast right now, and Matt's a huge part of this. But let me see if I can get off and not hang up on you guys like I did last time.
And I just want to say one thing. The reason why I think it's connecting so well, everything's organic. Nothing has been forced. Like, it's not been like, oh, we're going to create this great space. It's not like that. It was
right.
It's 100% organic. And it was like, we need to go somewhere because we can't be using our parents' garage anymore. We've graduated college and now we're using our parents' garage for our band.
We're at the pad.
And the neighbors are all laughing and giggling because we're practicing and we're like graduated from college. You know what I mean? It was definitely a shift in life. And so we said, we got to find another place.
Right.
So, and Jerry can take it from there, but it was like the needs that we had as artists, we needed those to be like met, like, and we've literally been building that, and the pad kind of has been born into it. Does that make sense? Like, it's not like, oh, we're going to make a business model and make a lot of money, and we're going to be doing this. It's none of that. None of that.
Right.
And Jerry will go in detail of how that happened. It's actually a really funny story, and Matt was part of it from the very beginning. So take it away, Jeff. And Matt, if you guys are still there.
Yeah, we're here. Matt was there when we were doing our fiddle show at Rockin' Our Ranch, and he before that as our Sunday school teacher. I mean, we're talking really far along. But he saw us and our parents' house. My mom taught him piano and his whole family. So we were all kind of like always connected. But we ended up, getting this practice facility it was called the Practice Pad, and people knew this place as like the discount Milano store.
The story is interesting at the beginning. We had to leave mom and dad's garage because we had to get violin strings. So we found.
So we went to go grab picks for a penny, and my mom was like, "Oh, this store I think is going out of business. You guys can get everything on sale." So we drove down there. We had never been there, but we saw this huge building that was full of harp boxes, and the first part of it had a bunch of instruments. So, to make a long story short, we ended up making a deal with the owner. Kind of asking them.
Jeffrey, there's a lot of funny things you're missing, though. There's a lot of funny things you're missing.
I know, but it takes a while to get there.
Well, no, but it proves the grit that it takes to succeed. Like, let me just chime in for just maybe.
Okay, go ahead.
So the grit was like this. So we get there and we walk in and get the strings or the picks, whatever. And Jeff's like, "Oh my gosh, Jason!" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "John's selling this owner's still in the building and." We could rent me a room here. Maybe we could buy the building. I'm like, okay, Jeff, settle down. Let's go get some strings. You know what I mean? Like, let's settle down. Let's get some strings, right? Because I'm all thinking of like the concert coming up, and then we kind of like make friends with John and we buy the strings. And then Jerry did say, hey, can we rent a room? And he goes, oh no, I've already been there, done that. I've already done that.
Well, no. At first we asked. I remember that we asked him, do you have the catalog on the wholesale of all these instruments, like what the real prices that you buy them for? And he brought it out. He's like, here are my books. Here's the actual cost.
I guess it was a business question.
Wholesale. And we're like, these are amazing. These prices are incredible. He's like,
we just jumped right in, I guess.
Go into business as a wholesaler. And I was like,
so that was interesting.
Well, can we buy these on wholesale prices? He's like, okay, I'll let you guys just take whatever you want. Just get my money back. So we ended up buying a lot of things on wholesale, and that kind of, I remember we dropped like almost $1,000 that first day just because we bought everything on wholesale, and he just wanted to get rid of everything. So then we ended up buying the next day. We asked him if we could.
Well, hold on, Jeff. We asked if we could rent a room, and he says no. So then, yes, we went back the next day because we don't take no for an answer, right? We're trying to win him over, right?
So
we go the next day. We buy other things we do not need. And this course is all on a credit card, right? Which is ridiculous. But we're buying things we don't need. We ask him again, hey, can we just rent one room? And he goes, no, I'm selling the building. I don't want to do anything. Like the economy's has hit my heart business where I'm out. And so we're like, well, we'll help you clean the building and sell the building. He still said no. So we went back a third day. And we're like, I don't know what's going to take, but we're all buying electric guitars. We don't even play the electric guitar. We're all buying electric guitars. And then finally, I think we do kind of make him laugh a lot, and we're talking to him, and he kind of likes us. And so by that third day, he's like, you know what? Let's do it. I'll rent one room for you. There's a small little room in Suite 2, and here's the price. It's like $200 a month, and then we'll add 1/3 utilities on there. We said, done, phenomenal.
That's
and then the only request, he said, don't make copies of the key I give you. Like, do not do that. And we said, done. No, we will not make copies of the key. No one will be in unless we are there, and we're good. And so he did like a 3-month thing. And that's what changed
for a key for like almost 2.5 years. I never had a copy. We were that true to the.
That's awesome.
So, but the dream was to turn this place into a not just our practice facility, which it was for the last 7 years, but like the idea was to change into an amazing studio. Collaborative space that had multi-purpose, and that we could be ultimately maybe do a membership one day, like a membership space for creatives, almost like a CrossFit gym for creatives, or we used to call it the gym membership for creatives, but definitely something that was different than everybody else was doing. Not just a recording studio or like a place you go and book like a professional studio for like high-end budgets or things like that, or like, you know, we're trying to do something that's different, and hopefully we can get there, you know, with everybody's help and everybody's ideas.
Well, I think it's a unbelievable idea. I think there's some great, like I said, I've been there. I've felt the creative juices going on in there. Real quick, is I think this call is about ready to end. How can people find out about you? What's the best way that people can connect with you guys?
Yeah, they can contact us at the Pad on Main on our Facebook page right now, or our Instagram.
I'll just give you my cell phone. I'll just give you my cell phone here. No, I'm not even kidding. 480-313-1454. That's my cell. I'm we run a pest control company.
And if you need us to kill your bugs, you can definitely connect us with that. And
That's
it's
right.
844-BUGS. 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 And I guarantee you'll have a musical bug experience like no other. More than just the Pied Piper.
These guys have more talent than any than any other. Anyway,
so I will give you my cell phone because I'm that connectable. Like, we're here to help everybody, you know.
And it's true. Jason's an amazing guy. So Jeff, you're awesome.
Thank you. You're awesome, Mike.
Oh no, this is fantastic. I really appreciate you guys being on the show. We definitely need to do it again. I think there's a lot more to the story that
there is.
But you guys check out the Pad on Main on Facebook. And
we are releasing a single. Our single's coming out in a couple weeks called "Come Back," and it's going to be a really good song. It's a great song. We've been working on this one for a while.
Maybe we can come on the show and
yes, I was just gonna say you guys need to come on and do a little time here to on And If Love Remains when you guys release a song. That would be awesome.
That'll happen. Okay, we'll let you know when we're releasing that in a couple weeks here.
Okay, fabulous. This is
awesome.
Jason and Jeff Linford, the Linford twins. Check them out at the Pad on Main on Facebook. And then Jason just gave out a cell number, so blow that thing up.
My wife's gonna kill me for that, but no, it's fine.
You guys are the best. Thanks for being on the show.
Mike. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. You're the best, Mike.
You bet. This is Mike Levitt, and this is And If Love Remains.